You see, people underestimate the power of a simple, well-executed hug. But a hug isn't just a casual form of affection, it's an unspoken language, a signal of who you are at a fundamental level. When you hug someone the right way, you are engaging in something deeply primal, something hardwired into our evolutionary biology. A hug is not merely about physical contact, it's about trust, confidence, and presence. And let me tell you something, if you get it right, it can make her feel something that words never could. The psychology of physical touch is a force that governs human connection at the deepest level. A hug is not just a meaningless embrace, it is a biological weapon, a tool that has shaped human evolution, a bridge between two nervous systems. When you hug a woman, you are not just touching her body, you are influencing her brain, her emotions, her very perception of you. The moment your arms wrap around her, a cascade of neurological processes begins. And if you understand this, you can make her feel something she didn't even know she was craving. Oxytocin, the so-called love hormone, is released during a meaningful embrace, binding two people together in an almost involuntary way. This is the same chemical that mothers release when they hold their newborn child. It is the biological glue of human attachment. When you give her a hug that is firm, confident, and well-calibrated, you are planting a seed in her subconscious that tells her this man is different. The world is full of empty gestures, hollow interactions, meaningless exchanges. But a hug done right, it lingers in the mind. It stays in the body long after the moment has passed. Your touch carries information. If you are hesitant, unsure, or weak in your embrace, she will feel it instantly. The human nervous system is wired to detect weakness. It's a survival mechanism honed over thousands of years. But when you hold her with controlled strength, when your arms tell her she is safe yet desired, her body responds before her mind even has a chance to process it. Her breath shifts, her pulse changes. The walls she keeps up for the rest of the world begin to lower, even if just slightly. And that is where obsession begins. The problem with most men is that they have no awareness of what their touch communicates. They think a hug is just a hug, but that is a fundamental misunderstanding of human nature. Women live in a world where physical touch is often meaningless or invasive. A man who truly understands how to make her feel something with just a simple hug is a rarity, and rarity is what breeds desire. If every other man gives her a forgettable embrace, and you give her one that electrifies her very being, you have instantly set yourself apart. This is about more than physicality, it's about presence. Most people live in their heads, distracted, thinking about themselves rather than the person in front of them. But when you hug her, she must feel that for those few seconds, she is the only thing that exists in your world. That level of attention is intoxicating. A woman will forget words, she will forget dates, but she will never forget how a man made her feel. And a powerful hug makes her feel something no amount of talking ever could. Your energy must be controlled, deliberate. There is a perfect balance. A hug that is too light makes you seem unsure, like a man who is afraid of taking up space, afraid of asserting himself. But a hug that is too forceful can feel imposing, overwhelming, even desperate. The secret is in the tension between strength and softness, the duality of control and surrender. You hold her firmly, but not rigidly. You pull her in with intent, but not aggression. It must feel natural, effortless, as if you belong there, as if she belongs there. This moment is not just about her, it is about how she perceives you as a man. A man who knows how to hold a woman knows how to lead, how to make her feel safe without making her feel trapped. This is the kind of man women crave at a primal level. Society tells them they want words, status, a checklist of traits, but their biology tells them they want something else. They want to feel something they can't explain. They want to experience a presence that shifts their entire mood, that makes them question why they feel a sudden pull toward you, a hunger they don't fully understand. A hug, when done with mastery, leaves an imprint. It lingers in her mind when she is alone, when she is lying in bed at night, replaying moments in her head. She won't even understand why, but she will find herself thinking about it, craving that feeling again. That is because the body remembers what the mind tries to rationalize away. She may meet other men, talk to them, laugh with them, but when they touch her, something will feel off. Something will be missing. Because you have set the standard, and once a woman experiences something truly exceptional, it is impossible for her to go back to anything less. This is not manipulation, this is mastery. Mastery of yourself, mastery of your presence, mastery of the impact you have on another human being. Weak men beg for attention, they chase, they seek validation. Strong men understand that their very presence creates an effect. And the right touch at the right moment is more powerful than any words ever could be. You must become aware of your own energy. If you are insecure, it will show. If you are hesitant, she will feel it. Confidence is not just in your words or actions, it is in your very presence. A man who is at peace with himself, who understands his own power, does not need to overcompensate. His hug is not desperate, it is not needy. It is a statement, silent but undeniable. It says, I am here, you are safe, and you will remember this moment. The psychology of touch is primal, undeniable. It bypasses logic, it bypasses rational thought, and it goes straight to the core of human nature. When a woman melts into your embrace, when she feels that rush of safety and excitement all at once, she is not thinking about why, it just is. And that is the most powerful effect you can have on someone, not logic, not persuasion. Pure, undeniable feeling. If you master this, you don't need to chase, you don't need to impress. She will feel something with you that she does not feel anywhere else. And that, my friend, is what makes her obsessed. A hug is not just a physical gesture. It is an expression of who you are as a man. It tells her everything about your confidence, your presence, and your understanding of human connection. Most men fail at this because they think a hug is just two bodies coming together, but that's the mistake of the ordinary. The extraordinary man understands that the details, the subtleties, the smallest calibrations in his embrace determine whether she feels nothing or whether she feels an unexplainable pull toward him. A hug must be intentional. If you hesitate, if you go in weak, if your touch lacks certainty, she will instantly register it as insecurity. Women are highly attuned to the energy behind a man's actions. The body does not lie. And a poorly executed hug screams uncertainty, nervousness, and lack of self-assuredness. This is why most men are forgettable. They approach a hug the way they approach life, passively, waiting for permission, unsure of themselves. But the man who understands how to command a moment never waits. He does not ask for permission to be confident, he simply is. The way you position yourself matters. Stand tall with unwavering posture. Your chest should be open, your shoulders relaxed but strong. A hunched posture tells her you lack conviction, that you shrink in the presence of others. A stiff stance makes you look unnatural, like someone forcing dominance rather than embodying it. The perfect hug begins before you even make contact. She sees your presence, she feels your energy, and by the time your arms wrap around her, she already knows whether this is a moment she will remember or not. Your embrace must be firm but not rigid. Strength without comfort feels oppressive. Softness without strength feels weak. The balance is in the tension. Hold her like she matters, but don't suffocate her. Make her feel protected, but not trapped. If she senses hesitation in your arms, she will subconsciously categorize you as uncertain. But if she feels your control, if she senses the silent authority in your touch, her body will respond in ways her mind does not even fully comprehend. Your hands must be placed with precision. A loose grip communicates disinterest. A forced grip feels needy. If your hands hover unsure of where to settle, she will feel disconnected from you. But if they find their place naturally, instinctively, as if you belong there, as if she belongs there, the moment shifts. A well-placed hand on her lower back, applying just enough pressure to draw her in, changes everything. It tells her you are present. It tells her you are aware. It tells her that in this moment, she is not just another person. You see her, you feel her, and that level of attention is intoxicating. The timing of a hug is a language of its own. Too short, and you communicate detachment. Too long, and you risk making it uncomfortable. The key is to stay in the moment just long enough for her to feel something, for the energy to build, and then you release before she expects it. This subtle withdrawal leaves an imprint. She notices the loss of warmth, the absence of your touch, and that moment of space creates a craving. Desire is not built in excess, it is built in tension, in the perfect amount of presence, followed by just enough absence to leave her wanting more. Your breath matters. If your breathing is erratic, if your rhythm is off, she will feel it. A man who cannot regulate his own body communicates instability. But a controlled breath, slow and steady, signals composure. When you embrace her, let your breath guide the moment. If she notices that you are completely at ease, she will unconsciously mirror that energy. She will feel safe, and safety combined with attraction is what forms deep, unshakable connections. Most men let the woman dictate the hug. They react to her movements rather than guiding the moment themselves. This is weakness disguised as politeness. A leader does not wait to be led. He sets the tone and she follows naturally, effortlessly, because she feels that he knows where he is going. When you pull her in, do it with certainty. When you release, do it with purpose. Everything must feel intentional, deliberate, like you are in complete control of yourself and the space you create between you and her. Your scent, your warmth, the way your energy lingers after you let go, these are details that most overlook but make all the difference. A woman will forget the words you said, but she will never forget the way your presence made her feel. If she leaves that hug feeling a sense of calm, a sense of longing, a sense that something in her shifted, you have already separated yourself from every other man she encounters. A weak hug is an instant disqualification. It signals a lack of presence, a lack of understanding, a lack of awareness of what truly affects people. A man who masters the subtleties of a hug is a man who understands power. He does not seek validation. He does not hope for connection. He creates it. He is not asking for her attention. He is commanding it without saying a single word. The difference between an ordinary hug and an unforgettable one is the difference between being noticed and being remembered. Most interactions are forgettable because they lack intention. Most men touch without presence, speak without impact, exist without leaving an imprint. But the man who understands the weight of every detail, the way tension builds attraction, the way presence creates security, he does not need to try to be memorable. He simply is. If you can master this, if you can make a hug feel like an experience rather than just a gesture, you will become unforgettable. Not because of what you said, not because of what you wore, but because of how you made her feel in those few fleeting seconds when nothing else in the world existed except the space between you and her. A man who understands how to embody both strength and vulnerability in a hug possesses a level of influence that most men will never achieve. Strength alone makes a man rigid, closed off, a wall rather than a presence. Vulnerability alone makes a man weak, unable to command respect or ignite desire. But the balance of the two, the controlled force of confidence mixed with the raw depth of emotion, is what creates obsession. It is what makes her feel something she cannot explain, something she cannot easily forget. A hug that carries only strength can feel mechanical, like a display of power rather than an exchange of energy. If you hold her too tightly, if you grip with too much force, it tells her that you are afraid to let go, that you need to control rather than connect. A woman may respect a man's strength, but she will not crave him if he cannot show depth. A hug that is too overpowering sends a message of insecurity, of desperation disguised as dominance. The body does not lie, and if your energy is trying too hard to project something, she will sense it instantly. On the other hand, a hug that is too soft, too delicate, lacks presence. A weak hug tells her you are unsure of yourself, that you fear stepping fully into the moment. Women do not respond to men who shrink, who hesitate, who wait for permission to express themselves. A man who hugs without commitment is a man who lives without commitment. And if she senses that you are not fully in control of yourself, she will not feel safe surrendering to the experience of you. The perfect hug walks the razor's edge between these two extremes. It is firm enough to make her feel secure, yet open enough to make her feel understood. It is the silent language of a man who has nothing to prove, who does not need to force connection because his presence alone creates it. This balance is what creates an emotional imprint, what lingers in her mind long after the moment has passed. When you pull her in, it must feel effortless, as if she belongs there. She should feel the solidity of your frame, the quiet power in your touch, but she should also sense the depth behind it, the warmth, the unspoken reassurance, the presence of a man who is both a protector and a mystery. This is where most fail. They think they must be either impenetrable or completely exposed. But the truth is that desire is built in contrast. Women are drawn to paradox, to a man who is both unshakable and deeply feeling. If she feels that you are too detached, that your hug is nothing more than a habitual motion, she will not feel special. She will not feel chosen. She will feel like she is just another body passing through your life, and that is the death of attraction. But if she feels that you are too eager, too emotionally dependent on the embrace, she will sense neediness, and neediness kills desire faster than anything else. The secret is in controlled release. When you embrace her, let her feel the moment fully, but be the one to let go first, just slightly. Let her notice the absence, the sudden shift, the way her body adjusts when your arms are no longer around her. That fraction of a second creates longing. It tells her that you are fully present in the moment, yet unattached to it. That you can give, but you do not need. That you can hold, but you are not afraid to release. This balance is intoxicating. It makes her wonder about you. It makes her feel something in her body that she cannot rationalize. A woman does not crave a man because he is merely strong, nor does she fall for a man because he is simply kind. She becomes obsessed when she feels a depth in him that she cannot define, a mystery in his presence that keeps her wanting more. And a hug, done right, is the gateway to that feeling. Your breathing must be steady, controlled. A man whose breath is erratic, who exhales nervously or fidgets within the hug, is a man who does not trust himself, but a man who breathes deeply, who moves with purpose, who allows silence to exist within the embrace, creates something unspoken, something powerful. She may not consciously register it, but she will feel it. She will feel herself sinking into your energy, into the certainty of your presence. Everything in life is tension and release. The ocean waves crash and recede. The heart beats and pauses. The inhale and the exhale create rhythm, movement, anticipation. A man who understands this does not cling. He does not overstay. He creates an experience, and then he leaves just enough space for her to want it again. A hug is not just a hug, it is an emotional experience, a moment that can plant a seed in her mind, making her wonder why she feels different around you, why she cannot shake the memory of your touch. This is what separates the rare from the ordinary. Any man can be strong. Any man can be kind. But very few understand the art of merging the two, of becoming a presence that a woman feels deeply in her soul. Strength without vulnerability is empty. Vulnerability without strength is weak. But the balance of the two, that is what makes her obsessed. Now, what makes a hug powerful? It's the balance between strength and gentleness, dominance and care. If you hesitate, if you second guess yourself, if your energy is scattered, she will feel it instantly. And that hesitation signals uncertainty. Women are incredibly attuned to emotional signals, and a weak hug, one that lacks intent, communicates a lack of direction, a lack of presence.